Coming up, Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers and local doctors hold free clinics for volcano survivors in North Sumatra. China Tzu Chi volunteers hand out scholarships to some 20 underprivileged students in Sichuan's Yaan. Welcome to Dial Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In North Sumatra, Indonesia, following the eruption of Mount Sinabung, over 6,000 residents took refuge in 12 different shelters. In the wake of the air pollution caused by the volcanic ash, Tzu Chi volunteers joined hands with local doctors to hold health checkups for the affected patients.
As grey smoke continues to bellow from the volcano, local residents have started to experience discomfort. After the volcano erupted, the volcanic ash caused severe air pollution. Many local residents started to experience discomfort, such as coughing and colds. As a result, Tzu Chi volunteers set up free clinics to tend to the residents' medical needs. Madan Tzu Chi volunteers soon organized free medical services, including general medicine, ophthalmology, and chest medicine. 16 doctors in total joined this free clinic.
Given the amount of volcanic ash, the public's health was definitely affected because the hot ash contains the chemical sulfur. When we were carrying out the preliminary diagnosis on them, their voice was hoarse and they started coughing. Their vomit contains phlegm.
As the volcano had just erupted, most of the local residents went outside without wearing face masks. Volcanic ash blurred our vision and agitated our eyes.
Working in limited space and with limited medical resources, each of these doctors does their best to help as many patients as they can.
Since 2 days ago, Tzu Chi volunteers have started their relief work to help these refugees with medications and other necessities. On behalf of the local residents, thank you, Tzu Chi, once again for your compassionate gesture.
With Tzu Chi volunteers' dedication and selfless love, these refugees will soon be able to return to their normal lives again.
In Malaysia's Nichiling Simbinlan state, a fire broke out along the street in Titi village and destroyed 12 food shops. Luckily, no casualties were reported. Upon receiving the news, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with relief items, emergency cash, and most importantly, much-needed emotional support. Let's take a look.
Mid-Autumn Festival is a time of happy gatherings, but in Kampung Baru Titi, in Malaysia's Negeri Sembilan state, a row of 12 shops with over a century of history was burned to the ground in a sudden fire. Shop owners were able to escape and are now helping each other recover.
The fire happened so suddenly and there was no time to react. My husband told me to help grab some important things, and then we went to help others. There was a senior suffering from dizziness, so we rubbed medicine on him.
The fire inflicted heavy losses, and now the most urgent matter is to help residents rebuild their lives. The next morning, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the disaster site to confirm the list of those affected in preparation for the distribution of emergency cash and supplies.
It's not a lot, but to the disaster survivors, the emergency supplies can be of help. If the same happened to us, we would also need the care of others.
A video explained the origins of Tzu Chi's eco-friendly blankets to residents, as well as the supplies which came from many people, relaying their love and care. Putting their hands together in prayer, volunteers hope these residents may soon recover and rebuild their lives.
In 2006, Malaysian Su Yi-hung, who suffered from elephantitis, arrived at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital in Taiwan for treatment. After he made a full recovery, Su returned home. Unfortunately, without attentive care of his wound and regular checkups, Su's wound was infected, which led to pleural effusion. On September 19th, the young man passed away peacefully. Although no longer with us, Su's courage and optimistic mindset will stay with us forever. In 1998, Tzu Chi broke his left leg in a car accident. After he made a full recovery, he realized that his leg had started to swell. Since then, the problem not only affected Tzu, but also the lives of those around him.
Back in 2006, we accompanied Yihong to Taiwan, where he received a leg surgery at the Viane Tzu Chi hospital. Tzu Chi paid for all his medical expenses, and many volunteers accompanied him to Hualien.
6 months after the treatment, Tzu was ready to go home. Thanks to the effort of doctors and nurses, Yihong was able to ride a bicycle. This was a moment he had been looking forward to for a long time.
I want to thank everyone that has helped me, and especially my mother.
In 2008, the swelling in Tzu's left leg reappeared. With the help of Kota Kinabalu Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Yihong returned to Taiwan for treatment.
Between his first surgery and second surgery, he needed to go back to the Hualien Tzu Chi hospital for checkups. He couldn't make it because his mother was sick and he had to look after his mother's hardware store. Their living environment wasn't that great, which is probably what contributed to his worsening condition.
On September of this year, Tzu Yihong was admitted to the hospital due to pleural effusion. Unfortunately, the doctors were not able to save his life, and Tzu passed away peacefully.
Of course I miss him, but I do think it is better for him this way. If he is still alive, he will have to live with a heavy leg. I am sad, but I don't want him to suffer. At least he passed away peacefully.
Although Tzu Yihong passed away at a young age, his bravery and optimistic mindset in facing his sickness will stay with us forever. In the aftermath of the 9/11 earthquake in 1999, many schools were left in ruins overnight. In a project known as Project Hope, Tzu Chi assisted with the reconstruction of 51 schools in central Taiwan. The first school to be reconstructed by Tzu Chi was Fengdong Junior High School. In our next report, let's take a look at the history of the school and how it rose up from the ruins.
The traumatic experience of the 91 earthquake 14 years ago is unknown to the 13-year-old freshman.
During the 9/21 earthquake, over 200 people lost their lives in Fengyuan district.
The painful history from which flourished love and compassion is passed down to students year after year.
This structure was reconstructed using the most advanced methods of construction.
Each tile, each brick is instilled with the spirit of love and care.
The year of the 91 earthquake, I was still a teacher here.
Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Xiuling retired from Fengdong Junior High School 10 years ago, yet she continues to make a difference at her alma mater even during her days of retirement.
There were Tzu Chi volunteers who devoted themselves wholeheartedly to Project Hope. I felt that I should join them and contribute where I can. They made it possible for us to study here with peace of mind, so I will work even harder at my studies.
Although I'm glad we never experienced the earthquake, I think it's a pity I wasn't able to contribute towards our school.
But it's never too late to start now. For the past 6 years, at break time, math teacher Huang Shenzhou would shuffle between each classroom, canvassing love.
At the time, Tzu Chi volunteers were promoting the bamboo coin bank, so I took one. The students responded passionately, and within a week, the coin bank was full. So I continue advocating this cause. All children have pure hearts. Their kindness and compassion simply needs to be ignited.
Compassion starts within. Recycling begins with action.
We have designed 4 compartments situated just outside each classroom. Students can easily tell which recyclables go where. We wash our recyclables first before throwing them away. It's more hygienic. The volunteers will be happier when they come collect them.
感觉比较好。
Each Tuesday is the school's recycling day. Volunteers arrive just before 3 p.m. to collect the recyclables. Grandpa Liu has been promoting environmental awareness on campus since the reconstruction of Dongxing Elementary School.
My ligaments are inflamed, so there are times when I feel uncomfortable, but I always remind myself that environmental education cannot be ignored.
Just as environmental protection cannot be delayed, moral education should also not be neglected.
This structure is symbolic. It represents humility and shows that man is an integral part of nature. Hence, we must care for our environment. Our master is truly compassionate in her willingness to help reconstruct 51 schools. The quality and excellence of Taiwan's education system has really improved. It's really exceptional.
Tzu Chi's humanistic spirit serves as the foundation of education at Zhushan Elementary School.
叫做缩小自己啊！好，来，各位，我们来练一下慈济功夫，好不好？右手缩小。对，好聪明啊！差一点点。 到底有哪？之后呢，才发现说。
Later, I realized that Jin's aphorisms not only had an impact on the students, but it influenced me as well. My biggest motivation stemmed from the selfless spirit of our Tzu Chi brothers and sisters.
这一个课本讲。
Where there is love, there will always be hope.
In March, Dominican Republic Tzu Chi volunteer Jose Viane represented the Tzu Chi Foundation in attending the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women's Conference. Viane is a devoted Catholic. However, he was deeply influenced when he came into contact with Tzu Chi. He hopes through his translated works, more people back home can join the Buddhist NGO.
During a long time, I was working, and finally, what is the reason of my life?
17 years ago, with a love of Latin American culture and charity work, 29-year-old Jose Viane moved from Spain to the Dominican Republic, tirelessly working day to day until he met Tzu Chi in 2001.
My experience with Tzu Chi, I learned in the life I can make many things, but the real things, no material things.
By day, Viane works as a senior consultant at Taiwan's embassy in the Dominican Republic. At night, he volunteers as a translator, producing the Spanish version of Tzu Chi's Great Treasury Sutra.
En donde existe sufrimiento, siempre convertirse en un miembro sofisticado su respuesta.
Clearly pronouncing each word, Viane is currently doing a voiceover. In order to suit the Dominican